Hi, welcome to today's installment of Shake and Bake. My name is Eunice. I will be your host. Today I will be demonstrating chicken pot pie.
What?
Chicken pot pie.
Oh.
But first I would like to introduce to you our resident DJs, Phil and Chris of Get Cryphy. And later we will have Sims joining us. First, let's break the chicken pot pie down into 3 components. We will start with the vegetables. I have here half an onion, 2 carrots, and 1 celery stick. Make sure you're starting off with a nicely heated pot. I will just use a little bit of olive oil today, roughly 2 tablespoons. This is known as Mirepoix, which is basically celery, carrots, and onion.
Taste me how to, taste me how to.
And you will saute this for about 7 minutes. And while that's cooking, I would like to introduce today's guest, Sims. So, do you like chicken pot pie?
No.
No.
But I've only had frozen chicken pot pies before. I'm prepared to have some delicious pot pies today.
Okay, good. All right, so after the onions are a little bit translucent, then we will add some garlic.
Chop it up and throw it in the pot. Chop it up and throw it in the pot.
Coarsely chopped. Here we have a teaspoon of rosemary and a teaspoon of thyme. You can use whatever you like. And saute that for about 1 minute. The next step is creaming the chicken. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. After you have the rosemary and the garlic in the pan for about 1 minute, then you can just use one of your bowls to reserve this. And then I will just use the same pan for creaming the chicken.
What is creaming the chicken?
Well, creaming the chicken is essentially making a roux and then adding a 1.5 cups, 2 cups of cooked chicken.
So Eunice.
Yes.
What is a roux?
Well, Sims, a roux is butter with flour incorporated into it slowly so that you can thicken it to a nice gravy.
Taste me how to, taste me how to. Taste me how to, taste me how to.
Slowly add the flour and whisk it. The slower you go, the less lumpy it will be.
How much butter did you put in that pan?
How much butter did I put in the pan? About 1/3 of a stick.
Would you say you do it more of like a Julia Child's method, with like more butter the better?
Yes, more butter the better.
Okay.
Agreed, always. Once you have the roux cooked to a nice blonde, then I add the broth. And what we're using here is about 1/2 pint of broth. And then for the milk, about 1/2 pint. I think the trick to roux is adding everything slowly. And I am a huge fan of the liberal use of salt. I think salt and knowing how to use salt is the key to good cooking. Okay. Where's the brags?
So we're using liquid aminos.
Liquid aminos.
What is that?
Liquid aminos. It's an alternative to tamari and soy. We're using about 3 tablespoons of the brags. And there we go. And then add the chicken. Creamed chicken. Once your chicken is creamed, then you can add your vegetables that you have reserved over here. And chicken pot pie is pretty flexible. Quite frequently, I will add kale. Oh, and frozen peas. What's pot pie without frozen peas? I don't know. Add some peas. And we will preheat the oven to 400. We are putting the filling inside of a pie pan. And now to make the biscuit topping. And what we're going to do here is use 2 cups of flour. Sims is actually going to make the biscuits for us.
I'm gonna make the biscuits for us. So you dump the flour in the bowl.
Dump the flour into the bowl.
And then tell me what's next.
And then 1 teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder. And then half a teaspoon of salt. And whisk it all together.
This is good TV whisking.
That
properly
looks,
whisked?
That looks really good.
Okay.
And so cold butter, that's what you always want to use for biscuits. And I think we have 1/3 of a cup of butter here, right there. And then use your pastry cutter, and then you are going to cut
Pastry cutter.
the butter into the flour. So homogeneous little chunks. I start off with the pastry cutter, and then I get my hands in there and actually make sure that all of the little butter pieces are coated with flour and about the same size. And the reason why you want to do this quickly is because you want your butter to stay relatively cold.
Okay.
Because that's what makes flaky biscuits. And then after that, we are going to put the yogurt in. And this is 2/3 of a cup of yogurt. All of the recipes that I've read actually call for kneading. Can I go ahead and stir that up? Kneading the flour into the butter, but what I actually use is a bench scraper. This is not a bench scraper. I think this is a tool for spreading concrete, but it works just fine. I think it works better. So as you're flipping the dough over, what you're doing is creating layers of fat in your flour, and that's how you get flaky biscuits that rise really high. And then it's time to cut the biscuits. While that's baking, let's get to shaking.
Welcome to the function!
I got $1 for you, push it, put your ass up on that pole. If your friend over there lick it, then you might earn 20 more. I really don't be here. Put your hand flat on the floor. See the sweat drip till it comes from the dingy hole. Let's go all on top, draw, hamstring, last roll. Toss it all the whole
I'd like to thank MPLS.TV, Sims,
Hey!
Get Cryphy, and the Fry Girlz. Let's eat.